Hi, I'm David Fleming, and I want to welcome you to the YouTube channel of Disciples Ignited, where we are focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. And talking about disciples, I have written a series on discipleship. It's called the Spirit-Filled Discipleship Series. It's available on Amazon. It's actually 3 books that cover discipleship from all different angles. It's going to teach you principles from God's Word that's not only going to help you understand what discipleship is all about, but it's going to help you grow as a disciple. So look it up on Amazon. It's a great resource for your own individual study or in a group setting. So look it up. You'll be glad that you did. Now let's get started on our new series. We told you yesterday that we're starting a new series on modern day prophets and prophetic ministry. And there are many of you that are really longing to become involved in this new outpouring of God's Spirit that is bringing so many into the prophetic realm. So what is this? Well, we read yesterday in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11, that Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers. Now, these are offices of leadership that the Lord himself has put into the church to help the church grow into the fullness of Christ, to help us all grow up, mature in as we follow the Lord. That means, since these are offices that the Lord himself has put in the church, each one is necessary to help us all grow in unity and also grow in maturity. So without the prophet functioning in the church, we are sadly lacking something that Jesus has given that we need to help us grow in maturity. So we're never going to truly grow in the fullness of Christ without each one of these offices of leadership operating in the local church. That means we need apostles, we need prophets, we need evangelists, we need pastors, we need teachers in the church today. But one thing that we do need to really understand from the very beginning is a person does not call themselves into an office of ministry. No, this calling comes from the Lord himself. Let me read to you Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, that really brings this out clearly. The Lord speaks to Jeremiah, who was a prophet, and he says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." And then here's the clincher. "I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Oh! That means that before Jeremiah was even born, he had already been set apart by God to be a prophet, and he had already been chosen to be a prophet to the nations. And this all came about before Jeremiah knew anything about it. But the day did come that the Lord began to reveal this to Jeremiah. But Jeremiah, he took this very soberly. See, there's a lot of people that I've spoken to that they see the prophet as a glamorous job. And I think, oh boy, then you've got a lot to learn. Because, see, the office of a prophet is, while it is a joy to be used by the Lord, it is anything but glamorous. Because a prophet is one that God sends to speak his heart, his will, his mind, his desire. He is not sent, or he or she is not sent to speak the will of man and to speak what you want. And so often the Lord sends a prophet to speak to others that which the Lord wants them to know, but a message that they might not be so receptive to. Let me read to you Jeremiah 25, verse 4. "And though the Lord has sent all of his servants, the prophets, to you again and again, you have not listened or paid any attention." Well, this is talking about how God sent prophets to the Jews of old, and they didn't listen. Well, that is certainly true today. Because, see, the Lord will speak to his people, but they don't always want to listen. And that is when God sends the prophets to speak the word of the Lord. So join me tomorrow as we continue on in this teaching.